Hi everybody, it's Lisa again with another edition of the Mod Squad. And today's pose is going to be a pose that I really like because it kind of going to stretch out our legs and our hips as well as help strengthen our glutes and our back. And that is bridge pose. And bridge is a great pose because it kind of allows you to stretch both the front and the back parts of your body, but there's some great options to kind of make it a little bit easier, a little bit more difficult, and kind of challenge the stretch if that's what you're looking for. So bridge pose is going to stretch out our quads, our hip flexors, get into our abs and our shoulders, and it's going to strengthen our hamstrings, glutes, and low back because we're going to use those muscles to lift those hips up nice and tall. So we're going to start on our back. So we're going to roll down, and then we're going to walk those heels up close to our sit bone. So we want our legs to be about hip distance apart, and our goal is to keep our knees together. So sometimes we have that tendency to let the knees go wide. So here's where a block is going to be super helpful. We're just going to place that block between our knees, and then we have to squeeze our knees together to keep the block in place. That's also going to give us a little bit of an inner thigh workout. So again, we're adding just one more set of muscles here to our bridge pose. So when we come into bridge, we want to think about pressing through the feet as we lift our hips up. So we don't want to let the low back sag, and we want to kind of reach with our chest as well. So we want to think about our chest lifts up toward the ceiling as well as the hips. So we press the feet down into the mat. So we're just going to slowly roll back down. So we want to think about squeezing with our hamstrings, squeezing with the glutes, lifting when we lift those hips up. That'll kind of help us work the hamstrings and work the glutes. So again, we're just going to lift those hips up. If you want a little deeper stretch, you're just going to roll those shoulder blades kind of underneath here, and you might be able to bring those hands together, or maybe just bring them a little bit deeper underneath that low back. That's just going to kind of get into our shoulders just a little bit more. And we're squeezing that block, so we're working the adductors here and then bringing it back down. So a couple of other options here with bridge. You can kind of take it nice and slow, and we just kind of do a flowing bridge. So if you just kind of want to start to warm up the hip flexors, warm up the low back, you're not going to take it as high, and you're just going to be nice and slow in the movement, still squeezing those knees together as you lift and lower the hips. If you want a little bit more of a restorative pose, you're going to take your block, put it underneath that tailbone, just kind of find where it sits right. And now you can just kind of allow yourself to relax a little bit. This just kind of lengthens and opens up that low back, allows your hip flexors to kind of relax just a little bit. Let those knees come together, gives you a chance to rest and relax. So when it comes to bridge pose, we want to think about a few things. We want to think about pressing those feet into the mat as we lift the hips up toward the ceiling, letting that chest open. We don't want those shoulders to roll up towards our ears or cave in. You can always roll those shoulder blades underneath. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, maybe when you're in the top of that bridge pose, think about extending each leg at a time. Plant that left foot, extend the right, plant the right, extend the left. That'll kind of give you a little bit more of a challenge in that pose. But again, it's a great pose to stretch and strengthen your back, stretch and strengthen those hip flexors, kind of places that we all tend to be very tight throughout our work day, work week, into our workouts. So again, bridge, another one of my favorite multi-purpose stretches here. If you have any questions or comments, something that you want to see on the Mod Squad, as always, it's the modsquadsf@gmail.com, and I'll see you next time.